Web Administrator Gomez.
Present.
Chairperson Takudubiapu.
Present.
Chairperson Huang.
Present.
Chairperson Georgia.
Present.
Chairperson Abdul Sami.
Present.
Chairperson Nair.
Present.
Campus Safety Commissioner Patel, she's excused. Representative Kadri.
Present.
Representative Devikanan. Representative Cannon. Representative Joan. Representative Maduakalam.
Present.
Representative Cabalas.
Here.
Representative Juma. Representative Fonseca. Representative Abamek. Representative Shikla. Representative Rottenbaum, she's excused. Representative Basta.
Present.
Representative Shavde. Representative Whitehair.
Present.
Representative Barazadan. Representative Shaheen. Representative Koleva. Representative Bilhandu, she's excused. Representative Salem. Representative Diallo. Representative Brown. Representative Shafi.
Present.
Representative Savage.
Present.
Representative Labaka. Representative Fatima, she's excused. Representative Kwan, he's excused. Representative Peretruk, he's excused. Representative Patel.
Thank you. The next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. Last week, minutes were unable to be taken, so that will be recorded. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Now, are there any corrections to the agenda?
I motion to add Bill 2025 S8 1020 to new business.
All right, there has been a motion to add Bill 2025 S8 1020 to new business. Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it, this motion has passed. Are there any other corrections to the agenda? If not, the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is public comment. Is there any public comment?
Any chance I can be in the middle?
At the podium.
Fair enough.
So we're going to comment, like we just said earlier, you get 3 minutes to speak, and 1 minute, and one person will reason.
Should be no problem. I'll time myself as well. All right, just a quick check. Clap once if you hear me. Clap twice if you're ready. All right, so hello, ladies and gentlemen of USG. As you are, some of you may be aware, some of you may not be. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Gerardo Nava. I'm a former graduate of this college. I was a former representative of this lovely group here, and I want to take some time. Last time I came over here, I spoke and I provided some flowers, verbal flowers, to this group. Allow me to drop appropriately on this St. Patrick's Day. Allow me to provide you some verbal pipe bombs to kind of be aware and to be somewhat understanding of the different things that are going on here at this campus. Now, recently, this campus had a very interesting gathering outside over in the quad area. I believe it was addressing different concerns regarding the status of UIC and attacks potentially occurring within its structure. And what am I probably talking about or referring to? I'm glad some of you are thinking and asking about this question in your minds right now. So I spoke with somebody in the Latino Cultural Center. They told me that the point of the gathering that occurred last week was to kind of address the solidarity concerns about the fact that UIC could be a potential target for the Trump administration in regards to funding, in regards to this university. Now, I've had the privilege and opportunity to speak with our lovely student trustee, Mr. Quinn, about different matters concerning different issues around this campus. Now, from when my conversation took place in regards to the Latino Cultural Center, it seems that there's a bit of a disconnect with this university here. And what do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. The disconnect that there's a concern about is the fact that the chancellor herself, has not made an opportunity to kind of make space, provide reassurances, connect with the student body, connect with the cultural centers that exist on this campus here. Now, I cannot specify on who has the opportunities to collaborate, to check, conversate with admin. I encourage you all, in some capacity, to make a statement, check in with the chancellor, provide an opportunity for the chancellor herself to be able to make space to reassure students around, reassure any misinformation that may be occurring within the university, to make sure that at the very least, any concerns, any matters, any concerns about solidarity should not be in question. I would hope that every one of you take the opportunity that you all have at this position, in this group. Each and every one of you has an opportunity and privilege to advocate for not just yourselves, but for everyone here that works at this university and attends this university. My one last sentence, if I can. Unless you're collecting a paycheck from this university here, each and every one of you know where you stand. And I encourage you to remind that to people and remind that yourselves as you take time, make space, share what you understand, what you know, and making sure that this university moves forward in the direction it needs to move. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? If not, we will move on to the next order of business, which is old business. First, we have Bill 2025 S7 1018, which we will be voting on tonight. Would a chief sponsor be able to read this for us?
Yeah, I can read it. So this bill is concerning the UIC Safe App tabling. Whereas campus safety is a highly pressing issue based on the UIC campus due to our location in downtown Chicago, and whereas the Office of Preparedness and Response at UIC has implemented multiple safety tools like the UIC Safe App and measures to help the student body feel more comfortable and safe across campus, and whereas many students remain unaware of the benefits of these tools and the many features of the UIC Safe App, let it be resolved that USG and the USG Campus Safety Commission will host a tabling event later this spring semester along with representatives from the Office of Preparedness and Response to further educate the campus community on the UIC Safe App and its many features.
All right. Are there any questions or comments regarding this bill? If not, we will move on to voting. All those in favor of adopting Bill 2025 S7 1018, please say aye.
Aye.
All that opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it, and Bill 2025 S7 1018 has passed. Next, we have, that is all we have in old business. The next order of business is new business, of which it was amended to the packet, so please take a look at the email chain. We have Bill 2025 S8 1020. Would a chief sponsor be able to read this for us?
Yeah, so Bill 2025 S8 1020, the USG Food Truck Day. The chief sponsors are the Treasury Committee and the Legislative Affairs Committee. Co-sponsors are Chief Executive Progre, President Asa, and Vice President Givelli. Whereas organizing social gatherings that facilitate the development of personal bonds between USG members and student body fosters a welcoming and relatable perception of USG as both an organization and resource for students, and whereas one of the goals of the USG is to actively involve and enhance the experience of members of the undergraduate student body, and whereas UIC Athletics and Student Athlete Advisory Committee aims to improve attendance and participation in sporting events and socials in order to build a student culture and school pride, and whereas the UIC baseball and softball teams both have home games scheduled for April 1st, Northwestern and Waukesha, where several prominent university faculty, government figures, and community leaders have expressed interest in attending. Let it be resolved that USG will collaborate with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee and UIC Athletics to host a food truck tailgate on April 1st from 3 to 5 p.m. near UIC Les Miller Field, involving free food trucks and activities/games. Let it be further resolved that the USG shall allocate up to $3,000 for services of the Tasty Chicago and Mrs. Tilly's Cupcake food trucks for the event. Let it be further resolved that all unspent funds shall be returned to the budget.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions, comments, or amendments to this bill?
I motion to Executive Order Bill 2025 S8 1020.
All right, the president has moved to make this bill an executive order, so we will be voting on it tonight. Keeping that in mind, are there any questions or comments regarding this bill? Victoria?
So I'm not remembering now, that's why I just wanted to check and clarify. Did we already pass the bill that has to do with food trucks, but we didn't sponsor anything that has to do with food, and this is now tailgate, so it's completely different compared to the food truck we were gonna bring and people would buy? No?
We didn't pass it. No.
There was a meeting about it. But, yeah,
To my knowledge, we didn't pass a bill for the food truck day yet. So for this one, it's going to be kind of like a tailgate. We're going to be setting up the food trucks in like the area between the two fields. And then, because they have like a little corridor and field between there, and then we're just going to set up all the games that we have from the Flames Fest, like volleyball, spike ball, all of those for people to play. And then whatever SABU or UIC Athletics wants to contribute as well.
So something similar to the basketball.
Similar, yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Is this, I'm not familiar, but is this USC West Miller Field nearby?
Yeah, it's on the south part of campus, so like if you walked past SES and then keep walking, there's like all the athletics buildings in front off of Roosevelt. It's behind that, if that makes sense. So you can walk in, like if you're at TVH over there, you can like walk through the paths over there.
All right. Are there any other questions or comments regarding this bill? If not, we will move on to voting. All those in favor of adopting Bill 2025 S8 1020, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it, and Bill 2025 S8 1020 has passed. The next order of business is going to be ex officio reports. May we please have the report of the advisor?
Yeah, some of your merch came, so come pick it up. That's my report.
Awesome, thank you. With that, the report of the advisor will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the student trustee?
Yeah, no formal written report this week, but this Wednesday and Thursday I'll be going to Springfield for the Board of Trustees meeting. It's going to be a pretty packed one, so I'll provide you all with a little debrief when I get back. But other than that, one thing I really want to make mention of is the women's basketball team has another post-game event, or they're having a post-game, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Post-season game. I don't know if this is because they qualified. I assume it is. Trisha's nodding her head, so I assume yes. So they qualified for an additional game. This is this Friday at 7 o'clock. Tell all your friends this is going to be officially the last home basketball game of the season. I know it's right before spring break, but you know, maybe you can have some fun with your friends and try to tell as many people as possible. We want to get some students out there. So that's all for me for this week, and I'll give you guys a more comprehensive update next week.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for the student trustee's report? If not, the report of the student trustee will be filed. The next order of business will be officer reports. May we please have the report of the president?
Hello, everybody. Happy week 10. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope you're all doing well. Just to kind of go over my week, I was invited by the student group SPEN to attend one of their events last Monday. I met with Dean Cheval of the College of Education to learn about the challenges that her undergraduate students face and how we can support that. There is a larger need for peer mentorship, so I'm really excited about that. I met the second finalist for the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs role. I attended the ERC meeting with Director Trish Giorgio. I met with the Director of Strategic Initiatives, Mary Ellen Borchers, along with Executive Associate Vice Provost of Student Success and Belonging, Aisha El-Amin, and the Executive Director, James Joseph Lynn of the Office of High School Development and the Academic Center for Excellence, to discuss more about peer mentorship on campus because they have a really good model, and I wanted to see how we could possibly replicate that as we're meeting with other colleges and other groups. And then we're celebrating the announcement of the Prepare for Illinois' Future program that was launched about 2 weeks ago. So in the first 3 days that it was launched, it saved students across Illinois $3 million in the first 3 days, and it's not fully launched just yet. And for UIC students specifically, in the first 3 days, it saved them $860,000. So that's huge. However, this is still just a pilot program. We're still trying to make sure that we can get the funding for years to come, so there might be more things that are happening along that end, so just kind of keep an eye out. But for now, make sure that your friends, whether they go to other public schools, whether they go to community college, if their school is participating, get them to sign up, because that way we can make sure that future students can get this too, because right now, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of free prep, it's really, really helpful, but it's only for this year. And we only have a couple months left in the school year. So really try to get that signage up as much as possible. For future meetings, there's a meeting with Professor Donald Wink, along with Representative Jason and Director Nathan, on Thursday to discuss possible research foundation boot camps. And then there's a meeting with Chief Booker on Thursday, along with Director Nair, and then Campus Safety Commissioner Patel on Thursday, as well as Vice President Haybelly. That is all. Thank you.
All right. Are there any questions for the President's report? If not, the report of the President will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Vice President.
Hi everyone, happy DBM 8. We are very close to spring break, so I hope the energies are still good. So currently I'm working on the USG Spirit Month, especially on the student engagement part and how we can promote it better, specifically on the student leaders and organizational part. So this week I will meet with our directors. If you already, organized an event for April or have an idea or anything related with those that you want to improve, please let me know so we can discuss. And I'm also currently working on the reserve funds. I know Michael will talk more today, but if you remember, we discussed before for the arcade room project. It's still there that we are working on, but there's also now an open door for the potential new ideas, and I'll help on those. And there is also, I'm currently research on and exploring some strategies for how to keep our alumni in the engagement for the better support for our students for the upcoming season of graduation. So if you have any question, anything especially related with USG Spirit Month, because it will be so important, it directly starts right after spring break and we need to be very active as USG. So yeah, I'm very excited and I hope you are too. So just let me know. We can always discuss.
All right.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for the Vice President's report? If not, the report of the Vice President will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the Treasurer?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. For this week's catering, we have barbecue chicken, Carolina pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, tofu, potato salad, Caesar side salad, and assorted cookies. Update-wise, continue planning our USG events to the end of semester and adjusting our payments to increase allocations and decrease them where needed. Began our reserve fund planning for this semester and then for next year. Created and submitted some of our USG events at RFS to the Dean of Students. Ordered our GBM catering, and then also I worked with Sodexo Catering for our food truck day availability and quote. The quote ended up being $2,000 less than we expected. We were going in thinking it would be around $4,000 based on last year's number, but working with the internal catering, we were able to get them down to $2,000, which is awesome. And in order to save funding, just a reminder, our catering is going to be lighter from now on. That's all.
All right.
Oh wait, and then actually, if everyone almost slipped my mind, There was a presentation attached to the packet based on our USG reserve funds. So if everyone could open that up and follow along as I read through it. You've probably heard me mention before that USG has these reserve funds, and that there's been ideas from last semester and this semester on what to do with them. So a little bit of a summary of what the reserve funds are is that USG has around $300,000 in reserves from what money has been left over from our yearly budget over the last 20, 30 years. So for example, if last year we didn't spend $1,000 from the budget, that ended up collecting into our reserve funds. Around 2 years ago, USG leaders and members of DOS created a plan on how to spend this money and what to do with it. The tentative plan was to spend $75,000 yearly for 4 years, starting with the student body of last year. And there's some guidelines with it as well, including that most of the USG rules that we have for spending apply, but we can use it for some bigger things as well, like things like infrastructure and projects that we typically couldn't do like that. And whatever is proposed and whatever we go with, it has to be an idea that isn't just temporary or something that only serves the current student body. For example, if we were to give a scholarship, that would only help students today. It wouldn't really help students in 10 years. So we want to do something that would have lasting change and be seen past our time. And another guideline was that it need to be fully fleshed out and have admin support and DOS support as well to make sure that's able to be properly implemented. So last year, the first year where we kind of went through reserve funds, we had every single committee go through and create an idea together on what they'd want to use the money for, and then the House voted on their favorites. We ended up passing 3 of them: individual meeting rooms, an arcade/lounge renovation in the rec, and full-body sleeping pods in SC. All these ideas, obviously none have happened. This is because of stakeholders becoming a little bit less interested in those ideas and kind of having a changing target with how they wanted them to get done. So eventually none of those ideas came into fruition. This year, the library and the community center gave us a lot of interest in the meeting rooms, so it seems like the idea will finally be happening, as well as the rec with the renovation. Delia's been working on that, me and Quinn have been working with those meeting rooms, and hopefully those should be seen soon, and we should be able to spend the $75,000 from last year. Moving on to this year, we have, moving on to this year, I'm on the wrong presentation. We will have the same $75,000 to spend. Tomorrow, I will open up a Google form and I'll attach it to the meeting packet from this meeting for everyone to fill out if you have an idea. What it's basically going to be is if you have an idea you think you're passionate about and that you would like to see at UIC, we'll give you the opportunity to kind of create a presentation about all the factors and all the details of that idea, do some research into it, reach out to admin, reach out to the stakeholders in the project, and create a presentation and fill out the form and bring it to eBoard and DOS, which then we will work with admin, work with DOS to see if this idea can happen, if we think it's something that's just going to be able to do. It won't be like a struggle or there won't be any hiccups with its implementation. So this form is going to be due right before our GBM after spring break. So you have around 2 weeks if you have an idea to kind of research into it, look into it, and create that presentation. After that, we'll have DOS go through all of those ideas, or eBoard and DOS will work together to go through all those ideas, see what we think about them, see what can be done, and then we will bring them to the House for a vote if there's any ideas that we think are going to be able to be implementable. Otherwise, to kind of prevent the issues of last year, we're going to work on changing the bylaws to create a subcommittee or just some kind of body or position to work on reserve funds instead of having it kind of up in the air of how we'd like to do it. So coming into next year, that's how it's probably going to work, where we're going to have a subcommittee or a position for someone to deal with reserve funds and work on their planning and then work on their implementation as well. I know that was a lot, so please shoot me all of your questions.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for the treasurer's report?
Just one question. For the individual meeting room, is that like study rooms or for like one person?
Yeah, because the idea with those is like if you're a commuter and you have to take like a Zoom call or like an interview or something like that, like you don't really have a space that's quiet on campus. you know, you'll see people in SE doing it on like the bottom floor, but it's still like loud. So I think these would be a great thing to add. That was our reasoning last year, especially because Loyola, DePaul, U Chicago, they all have them as well in like their library and centers.
That's a great idea, because right now I have an internship where I have to Zoom call, and I have to request a study room, so it's always saying 3 or more, and it's
Yeah.
sometimes people get kicked out, so I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it would help students like tremendously.
So just to be clear, we're not doing the ideas as a committee, it's just individuals.
Yeah, we're gonna do individuals because I feel like one of the things last year was some committees had like multiple people with great ideas that they wanted to see happen. Some committees didn't really have any ideas and they just want to push something through. So that's why we just want to open it up to see like whoever would want to add one.
Any other questions or comments?
One of the points is reaching out to stakeholders if necessary. How do you reach out to those stakeholders?
So if you know who might, you know, like if you know like, oh, if you want to do something in the rec and you know who that person might be, just emailing them directly. If not, you know, asking someone on eBoard to kind of like direct you to someone. That part's like a little bit more like, you know, just to see if the idea can happen, to start doing the research to see if the project can happen. It's not like fully required, but we would like to see it happen, you know, to make sure the project is implementable.
All right. Are there any other questions or comments for the treasurer's report? If not, the report of the treasurer will be filed. Next, we have the report of the Speaker of the House. All right, no major updates for this week. Happy week 10. Happy St. Patrick's Day to those who celebrate, and just one more week till spring break. So we won't see each other for another 2 weeks. And then future plans, continuing to figure out the second semester social. We'll probably release like a spreadsheet. We're thinking of a potluck idea mainly, and we'll probably send out a spreadsheet to you guys with things to bring. And then I'll be working mainly this week to update the representative points for this semester, and then working to upload documents to the box. Other than that, does anyone have any questions for me? All right. If not, the report of the speaker will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the Chief of Staff?
Yeah, hi everyone. Happy GDM 8. We're a week away from spring break. Over halfway through the semester. That's crazy. I feel like we just started. Last week I checked in with Director Georgiou, Director Sammy, and Treasurer Clement. This week I'm checking in with Director Nair, Director Tokudubiapu, and Director Wong, and Deputy Zappa. Last week and this weekend I submitted a request to book the room for our mental health town hall that we passed the bill a couple weeks ago. Like 2 weeks ago, yeah. We're still waiting to reach out to the UIC alum in the General Assembly after we get the date finalized, the date and time finalized. It's easier for them. But today we actually reached out to Dr. Bridges Carter, who came and presented 2 weeks ago, and Dr. Florisel Cavalier, who's the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Health and Wellbeing, and a representative at the National Alliance on Mental Illness. So those are my updates on that. If you have any questions or are interested in helping out in the mental health town hall, send me an email. Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions for the Chief of Staff's report? If not, the report of the Chief of Staff will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the DIC Chair?
Hello everyone, happy GBM. I'm currently working on the Culture Fest. For that, this week I'm meeting with Director Pranav and Treasurer Michael to finalize the allocations. On top of that, last week I had my bi-weekly check-in with Chief of Staff Teresa. And last week Maya had a productive meeting with the Wellness Center. She can tell more about that.
Yeah, so basically I had a meeting with the Wellness Center to talk more about the pantry. I went to this meeting with trying to find a way for USG to like help them in any way of not just having food items there, but hygiene items. And basically they told me that everything to the pop-up pantry gets donated to them, so there's like no way that we could do it like with any money, but if anybody has like not just food items but also hygiene items, we can donate it to them. And they also never heard this idea before, so now instead of asking for your food in pop-up pantries, they're also going to start asking for hygiene items, so maybe you guys will see some of those items in the pop-up pantry now.
That's it for my report. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
All right, does anyone have any questions for the DIC chair's report? If not, the report of the diversity and inclusion director will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the LAC director?
Happy GBM 8. The year is coming to a close very quickly. This week we had a weekly LAC meeting. Last week I met with Chief of Staff Program for our bi-weekly meeting. I'm working on planning the tailgate with Treasurer Klimek. I met with the ERC with President Assad on Wednesday, and we discussed current federal higher education funding threats, discussed mental health grant funding and crisis counseling, discussed potential city council lobby day and connection events. So other updates is that we worked on a student success university initiatives analysis. We had the Women's History, Social Media, Legal Education Week, and then we're going to work on local education pamphlets and tabling, and something else we're working on is potentially doing a letter writing campaign.
All right. Are there any questions for the LAC director's report? If not, the report of the LAC director will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the public affairs chair?
Hello everyone. Good news is that the merge came, or part of the merge came essentially. There were like some issues with ordering it, but it's now ordered. So as the stuff comes in, we'll bring it to GBM and give it to you guys. So most of you guys got quarter zips and beanies, but if you have not gotten them, come over there after the meeting so I can give you your quarter zip. Besides that, I worked with graphic designer Stephanie this week to make some more posts. We're planning the bowling alley event and updating the USG presentation that we'll send to English classes. And then next tabling will be April 1st at 12 p.m. to promote the baseball tailgate, if you guys are available. Yeah, if you have any questions, please ask.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for the PAC director?
What's the presentation for English classes?
So essentially our goal is, since like most people, besides like transfer students, you're required to take like an English 160, 161. So the goal is that we'll like give them a presentation to like show students about like what USG is, and then like what we do, and then to like follow us and stuff like that. And then we already asked the English department and they're excited to like work with us. So yeah, that's like the goal, to like send them a presentation to show all the English 161 students every year.
Right. Are there any other questions for the PAC director's report?
Do you think this is something they can do for like maybe other classes or like student orientation? Because still a lot of people, not really know about USG, and from what I've seen, not a lot of, people do take the English like 160 and 161, but it's not like a majority of people who take it. So is this something we can do for like other classes or like even like the student orientation?
Yeah, we were definitely talking about doing it at orientation as well. Just because it shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, if there's like other classes that you guys would think would be good, like I know like there's like the like I don't know what it's called, where you have to like
the 100 level.
Yeah, like the 100 level, like the intro class. But yeah, we just started with the English department just because we've like worked with them and done similar things in the past. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, you said you're sending over the presentation. Do you plan on having someone physically like do the presentation, or it would just be like the professor walking the students?
Just like the professor, just because the sheer quantity of classes, it would be virtually impossible to like get someone to come in and talk to every class. But it's like the presentation is made to be like very simple, and then just like a quick like few minutes of just like main points like that don't need much explaining. Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions for the PAC director's report? If not, the PAC director's report will be filed. Next, can we have the report of the student success director?
All right. Well, happy GBMA all. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you that celebrate. So in regards to Career Leadership Council, the Student Advisory Board, we met on Wednesday, but I also did want to provide kind of an update to what the CLC has been discussing based on these Student Advisory Board meetings. We've had 2 so far. We got 1 more left in April. So we were kind of discussing 3 focuses of career services on campus. Number 1, career exploration. Number 2, career readiness. And number 3, employer connections. That's realistically those 3 buckets almost that career services focuses on in all our capacities with all of our 4 career centers for undergrad students and then also our graduate ones as well. But the discussions has really been based on how do we engage more students more with our services on campus. Honor Center concerns and seeing how you kind of just are throwing a bunch of information, especially in regards to career services. So how do you actually make sure it sticks? Make sure that students understand, oh, this is actually really a service on campus. This is something that can benefit you and utilize you. And then also, we were discussing event promotion, and then we were also discussing transfer, student inclusion, and then seeing how we can kind of relate on that basis and seeing how we can promote there as well. In regards to Open Educational Resource Subcommittee, we're still waiting on getting the campus announcement approved, so I'll be sending up a follow-up tomorrow to see if we can get some progress over there. Obviously, there's been several campus Wi-Fi issues, so I have reached out to our Chief Technology Officer, and that Assistant Vice Chancellor, his name's Jason, so I'm waiting on a response to see if we can kind of get a time set up to discuss that ongoing connectivity issue to kind of facilitate that for students. In regards to the mental health town hall, Teresa was briefly mentioning it earlier. The date is set for April 16th. It is going to be 1 to 3 p.m. So add that to your calendars just because I know that you guys want that date. So just in about a month. But basically reached out to Mick Crumbach, who is the Director of Government Relations and Advocacy, to get some representatives from the Illinois General Assembly for the town hall. So we're going to see what we can do there as well. Previous meetings, Representative Aya and I met with Danielle, who's the Director of the MSLC, to discuss how USG can support the MSLC and learn more regarding this center. And future meetings include one with Dr. Wink, who is a professor of chemistry, to discuss a research laboratory fundamentals boot camp, which is Representative Whitehair's initiative, and that meeting will also be joined by President Assad. I'm also going to be meeting with our advisor Carlos as well. But if you have any questions, let me know.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for the Student Success Director? If not, the Director of Student Success's report will be filed. Next, can we have the report from the Director of Campus Life?
Happy 8th Spring GBM, everyone. So this week I worked a little bit more on the cultural festival, doing things like making the RSVP form and sending invitations to student organizations. With that being said, if you guys are involved with any cultural student organizations or any student organization that would like to do a performance at the cultural fest, please reach out just so I can get their contact information and CC on the email as well. And then also help continue playing the campus safety tempo with Commissioner Patel. And then for meetings, I have 2 future meetings, one with the Office of Minutes and Response on Wednesday, and then another one with USCPD on Thursday. And then also read Commissioner Patel's report, which is not usually. She worked on solidifying a date and time for the UIC Safe Tabling event, and she worked on playing the campus safety town hall and working with the WLRC to host possible panels in collaboration with USG. So for the event, she had a meeting with the WLRC or WRLC and talked about a panel event or a possible collaboration with USG in regards to the Ruth George campus safety tabling event. And then she also will be joining me and President Saad in the meeting with Chief Booker. And then she has linked the grouping link if you guys want to join.
All right. Are there any questions for the Director of Campus Life? If not, and if you have any questions for the Campus Safety Commissioner, please direct them to her email. And with that, the report from the Campus Life Commission will be filed. The next order of business is announcements. Are there any announcements? I've got Got one? Film Society has a movie watching discussion on Thursday at 6 p.m. Don't know what movie we're watching, but it'll be a good time. I forgot to note it down. Are there any other announcements?
Two of my orgs, Light Delay and Retros Review, are looking for new e-board members, and they're interested to come directly to me.
No more announcements. We don't take announcements from public comment, unfortunately. And with that, I will move on to the next order of business, which is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? All right, is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All that opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. The meeting is now adjourned at 6:46 p.m.